Devin, what? Just candy. I don't eat candy, bro.
Rice Krispies treats.
No, I don't even eat Rice Krispies.
What? Seriously?
I don't know. It depends on the day.
Good. They're good.
I know Rice Krispies are good. I don't know. I'm not a big sweet guy.
You're gonna have to do the intro.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the intro. I was thinking about just starting it because Devin went upstairs and being like, "Hey, welcome to the next episode of Speaking Sporadically. It's me, Jacob, here with no one." No, just kidding. So yeah, actually, this is April 10th, 2021. So, no, it's April 11th?
It's April
11th. We didn't go back in time from our last podcast, but we were just on a roll right now. We just had me and Devin here today, and we were talking about some really awesome stuff, and we just wanted to not mess that up and, keep going right into it. So it's kind of a confusing thing. We've talked about in the past backlogging podcasts, if there's a rainy weekend, maybe we don't have to film one, and if we already have some film, we can post this. So I don't know if this is going to be episode 7. This could be episode 8, because
it's weird. It's the same day as last week's podcast, but we're really on a roll.
But it might not even be last week's podcast. To say next week we have more guys here,
right.
We talk about a lot of current events. We don't want to post
weeks in the future.
We don't want to post a current event podcast a week behind. So that's kind of the tricky things with backlogging up some videos and some podcasts for you guys. One, it's a sure thing, if we miss a week, whatever, something happens, none of us can make it, and then we're still going to have something to post. And there's also situations like this when we don't want to go over an hour. I didn't even check what the last one was. We kind of just saved it right to our archives. We haven't published it yet, and we kind of wanted to get right back into talking.
Yeah, we were just... And, the more we talked about this stuff, the more Jacob was like, oh, I want to talk about this.
Yeah, I want to talk about this.
So, you know what? We'll just start a whole new entry,
a
whole new main, and then we'll fit it in somewhere.
I'm already forgetting some of the stuff I wanted to talk about.
Write them down.
I should have, dog. No, but one thing I was going to say, I saw a study that said if you took 100 people and said, these people are going to live forever. It's a weird concept, living forever. Do you say, your body... to simplify it down, would you say when you live forever, your body's not going to age?
Yeah. Which we talked about living forever in the last podcast.
You
a little bit more.
You guys, if you're listening to this podcast currently and you haven't listened to episode 6,
go back and watch
episode 6.
It's kind of like where our conversation starts, and we're just carrying it over.
We're carrying over our conversation right now. And like we said, it's really confusing. We're going to have to see how this works out because we're not going to publish this today because we don't want to do a double whammy.
Yeah.
We want to keep that consistency of just a 1 week. And
there's too much, then some people might not. What are you doing?
I don't know. I just found this little cube.
Some people might not watch it all or whatever.
Yeah.
So we want to get it right in the sweet spot where everyone will watch the full thing, but they're not overrun, but they still have enough.
So, obviously we talked about dying, and at the end of the episode, we talked about different stuff leading up to this, but kind of our last 20 minutes, 15 minutes was about this, dying and living forever. So, living forever, would you say that you cannot die? You're like Deadpool, someone stabs you, you're going to regrow? Or would you say living forever is you're not going to age?
I think it's, both. You can't die, basically.
All right. Because I saw a study, and they took it from the aspect of, you hit 25, and that's your max aging. So that's you're fully matured, but you're not going to get old. You're just going to stay 25 forever. Mm-hmm. They took a group of 100 people and put them through a random simulation that had tens of thousands of different chances and probabilities. What's the chance that this person goes on an airplane ride? What's the chance this person dies on the airplane ride? And they kind of took it from if you crash in an airplane, you're going to die, even though you can't age. But you still have the possibility of dying. And guess how long the longest living person out of the sample of 100 people, guess how long they lived until a completely uncontrollable, extremely gruesome, insane event killed them?
I feel like it's not going to be that long. But then... with your question you're asking me, it's going to be surprising. It might be really long. I don't know. I'm going to say 100 years or something.
900 years.
That's a lot longer than I thought.
But the second longest person was 500 years. So there was, out of the group of people, I think the first 40 people died. Well, obviously some people died soon because they calculated child infancy deaths, stuff like that. Well, that just brought up another topic in my mind, but we'll get on to that later. They brought up, like, so they calculated, like, child infancy deaths, so some people died, and then, like, they said the first 40 people were dead within the average life expectancy of a person. And then there's the people that started living until, like, their 150s, 200s, 250s, and then, like, the 900s. So I think the question also, is, like, what I was trying to get at is it has to do with how you're not going to die. Like, is it impossible for you to die, or are you just not aging? Because I've seen research done on things that try to prevent aging, prevent your cells from breaking down, getting old and tired and dying. And not saying I agree with all the methods they use, because I look at it as kind of disturbing methods they use that have to do with, like, using what are the cells called when, like, pretty much like the first cells made when a baby's conceived, like, using those cells, because those cells grow to be anything. So, like, say if an old person's dying, you could replace a kidney with those cells and they would grow to be a kidney, which is, I don't necessarily agree with that.
There's a lot of weird genetic
but
science.
The person only lived like 900 years in this simulation of this study that they did.
It's actually longer than I thought. Because you think, like, how many freak accidents and different things that happen. Like, someone dies in a car crash or...
Well, I don't want to, like, put against you, but your guess was pretty bad. 100, you said 100 years?
Well,
you got to think people live out of over 100. But that's also out of a polling size of probably, like, 1 billion.
So are these 100 people, are they, like, in their own type of world? And as more of them die, there's less people?
No, I took it as... I don't think I could answer that for sure, but I took it as, like... If you drew out of the about 8 billion people on the earth, if you drew out 100 people.
I'm still kind of surprised. Because you think, like, I don't know.
Like, all the ways you can die.
I could see, like, if there was just 100 people in this world, and then the more of them died, because then it would obviously, your chance of dying to a freak accident would be way lower.
Yeah.
Because there's no one else driving cars, it's just you.
You're talking about some Thanos stuff right now. Like, dwindling down the entire population. Like, what would be the average life expectancy if the population was cut in half?
I don't know about that. I feel like the life expectancy would be, like, the same, because I don't feel like people would age any slower. But then I feel like there would be a lot less freak accidents, because there's half the number of cars on the road. There's half the number of maniacs running around stabbing people or whatever.
Well, if you look at global-wide life expectancy, I mean, you have to calculate in people who die of starvation.
That's true.
Those numbers would be pretty much wiped. People that die of, it's ironic and sad to say, but people that die of, like, diseases.
Yeah.
I mean,
places that are really crowded. If
you got to think any case is going to be cut in half, or maybe even 3/4 cut in half. All right, cut in half again from that initial half, just because population density would be so much lower.
That is true. Thanos might be onto something, actually.
I remember Zion Williams was always a big thing. He's like, I supported Thanos all the way. Like, he's like, I rooted for Thanos in the last one.
Obviously, it's absolutely demonic to just kill half the people. It's wrong to kill
half the population.
But, like, the end goal kind of made sense, But...
That was such an interesting little 2 series of movies, with the introduction of Thanos and all that.
Yeah.
He brought up some good points.
But I guess this kind of leads into the next thing. It's just, we'll keep the deep thinking rolling, is simulation. There's a big common question is, are we living in a simulation? And I saw this Neil deGrasse Tyson. What? Do you see it too?
Yes.
Yeah. There's this video, a few of them actually.
I think it's the same thing, I'd assume.
Yeah, so a few of them actually, where he was talking about, they asked him, like, what are the odds we're being in a simulation? Because he's obviously an astrophysicist and he's really smart.
And he said early on his career, he pretty much full-heartedly believed that, yes, we were in a simulation.
Yeah. So he was talking about, I'll say the best I can from memory, kind of like what he said. So there's a few explanations for first why we're in a simulation. First is some greater life or being created such smart technology that they could created computers that are self-aware and then teach themselves and grow. And basically, let's say us, we are a simulation. That's us.
Yeah.
We're basically in a big game, and our brains and computers are so complex we can learn and grow. But he said that there has to be an end and a beginning to the simulation. There had to be some being that was not in a simulation and created the first simulation. But then he started to talk about how that simulation, could be so smart that simulation could create a simulation, and then another, and then another,
keeps going,
and then another.
going.
And they think they're the real being, but they created a simulation, And he said, we're either at the beginning or the end. So there's like a 50% chance.
Because there's no chance we're in the middle because we don't have simulations.
We don't have a simulation yet. So we're not somewhere in the middle. So it's either we are the real beings and we just haven't created the simulation yet, or we are the simulation, but we have no clue because we haven't been able to create our own. He said, like, if we're able to create our own simulation, like, as real as life, like, these computers are geniuses, and
we're just, like, looking over them, thinking, studying.
They have their own world. Then he said there's a good chance that we are, because there's a good chance that some other being has done the same thing.
But it says we're not, because, like, if you're in the middle, you don't know how many there could be. There could be infinite.
Different simulations.
It's the same arguing for being at the end. There could be infinite. But if you're at the beginning, there's only one. But what's the probability that you're the one in the infinity?
Right.
Pretty low. I don't know why this pops into my head, but like video game characters. Like, what if video game characters have? Because we don't really understand consciousness or what gives you consciousness. Like, what if video game characters think that they're conscious and alive?
Like right now, we don't have a simulation because we don't have any computers or characters that have consciousness.
But what if we're just not advanced enough to realize that, like, the video games, like the Fortnite characters and all those do have consciousness?
I guess that's true. I don't know. It's tough.
That might be too deep.
Yeah, that's really hard to think about. But I don't know. This stuff is cool. Another thing I kind of had that relates to that was computers, like, teaching themselves. You've probably seen that video, Jacob, of there's two teams. There's a computer where these.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
They're playing hide and seek.
Right. And or tag or whatever. So there's two computers, or there's four total, and there's two teams, two on each. And then the one group has to try to go and tag or find the other two. Mm-hmm. But they're in like a room, and no one touches this. This is just a computer simulation, but they programmed it to like learn and teach itself.
Yeah.
When you watch the video, and it's really cool. The stuff that these characters did, like they figured out that they could move things or jump over things or block things to not. But then so far the seekers would continue to run these simulations, and it was crazy numbers. It was like after 900 million simulations.
Because that's how AI is developed. It's not developed through like. It's weird because it's not really developed through like it having the ability to learn, but it has the ability of learning, but it's over a insane, unfathomable amount of trial and error.
Because every time they try something new.
Yeah.
And they can only do like one thing. So you can think they tried this, no, that's wrong. They tried this, no, and they have to do this a whole bunch, until they finally they figured it out. They continue to learn, which is another thing that relates to the like computers teaching themselves and slowly could be getting smarter on their own by using their own knowledge to train their own mind, which obviously relates to like simulations.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't think I know enough. I don't think I know enough to really make a clear cut like description of what I'm thinking. But like, is there a point where you have to like teach something how to learn so that it can get advanced, or is something that you never taught how to learn, is it capable of learning the ability to learn?
What? Say that again. I'll try to follow.
So you were saying stuff like computers will just keep getting smarter and smarter, right? So if we never taught a computer how to learn, would it be able to learn the ability to learn and then grow and develop its stuff? Like grow and develop its stuff.
I don't know if we're educated enough on that.
Yeah, I don't think I am educated enough on that.
The coding but it is weird to think about how if you just had like a simple computer, just a laptop, and you gave it enough time, and you put like one
Or
program
not even like a computer, like the Google search bar.
Yeah.
Like the Google search bar obviously has algorithms to make itself better and more efficient.
Yep.
But is it ever going to get to that point where it's like, what's the word? Ambient is when like the computer's fully alive, or I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna try to look up that word.
Ambient? I think ambient has something to do with like this computer is so slow.
Yeah, I think the computer's frozen, bro. He's got a lot of tabs open.
I have 5 tabs open. That should not shut down a computer.
I've been thinking about buying a laptop recently.
Yeah.
Did you buy this, or was it like a gift?
This is a sibling's old one.
Oh, I see.
So, I don't remember where they got it. So, I mean, it's pretty old, but it's a touchscreen.
Not right now. It's frozen. Oh, there we go.
See,
switch tabs.
We'll X out some tabs, make it speed up, because Sherm thinks 5 is a million. I don't know. But what was the word?
Ambient.
I feel like... I don't know.
You seen anything that results?
I guess my phone's slow, too. I mean,
You
it is an
just have
iPhone
bad
6, but...
Oh, you want to try me? iPhone SE. We are recording this podcast on the iPhone SE. I got that going in the summer of 16. 5 years ago. 5 years old.
Like that. But didn't you say you had something else you want to talk about, and you were gonna write it down?
Oh man. Oh yeah. When I said about the infancy thing, I was talking about infancy mortality. If everyone lived forever, would people have kids, or would that just become a thing of the past? Like, what's the point of? Because no one was dying, you would have to, in a way, get rid of people, because overpopulation, like if you look at the logistic curve of the graph, the one that exponentially goes up then it levels off. Overpopulation can't really happen because like naturally, based off this mathematical, the logistic curve, population will level off because of supply and demand.
Right. At some point
it will just happen,
or disease will go out of control.
I think disease will go out of control. Like obviously it's not going to happen so naturally as looking at it the eyes of humanity, because humanity wants to like cure the disease and stuff, but I mean it's inevitable, to quote someone. But because I think they said the max population that Earth could hold was 11 billion or something, and then like
we're actually kind of close to that.
We're kind of close, which is odd to think of until like. Yeah,
if you could live forever, think how much faster that rate would go if no one ever died.
Because it wouldn't be it would be like a constantly growing more and more exponential curve. Like, how can a curve get more exponential, though? Like, isn't there going to be a point when it's going straight up, or no? I mean, you're in calculus, Devin.
Technically, no. There would never be a point where it's going straight up, because then that's a undefined function, which... this is more mathematical, but you can't have a fraction over 0, which is what graphs are, or slopes. They're rise over run. And if you have the run, which is how far left or right it goes, 0, it just doesn't work. So technically, no, an exponential, but it goes up. Like, if you think of rise over run, it would go up 900 trillion, and it would only go over 0.000001, because numbers go on forever.
Like almost an infinite minus 1, 0.
Exactly, infinity minus 1, or 0.0, because numbers go on forever, so that number would just keep getting smaller, and that number would keep getting bigger that it's over.
Yeah.
So it would never be straight, but...
I remember someone telling me about the concept that if you have 0.9 repeating, at one point, is that just 1?
Yeah, I remember doing a math problem where we were figuring out 0.999 repeating equals 1.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember exactly how that makes sense or whatever, but
I think it was one of the things, like you had to prove something, like we were doing a proof, so it told you the solution was 1.
Yeah.
And your answer came out to be 0.9 repeating, and then you're like, even though it's like a proof, you can confidently say that it is like 1 does equal 1. Or 0.9 repeating equals 1. But you think people would even have kids? Because at that point, if everyone lived forever, you would have to think to keep balance, every person that's born would have to, like, someone would have to lose their immortality.
Yeah.
Unless you're thinking of, like, immortality to the point where, like, you don't even need to eat. It's like, would people just keep getting born until, like, everyone's just standing shoulder to shoulder?
Yeah, if we could live forever, no one would do anything.
Yeah.
Like, if you couldn't die, you wouldn't eat.
Yeah.
You wouldn't drink.
Like Wall-E, when they did all on the spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not really living forever.
No, they're just...
That's more of, like, the concept of, like, society's, like, status of what's normal just changed so much.
Yeah.
That when you're looking on it from an outside view, it's like...
Yeah, Wall-E's like Elon Musk stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he's thinking about how the Earth at some point will be trashed and used up, and we have to go to a different planet.
Like, have you seen... I think you probably read it in elementary school. I read it in elementary school. But the City of Ember...
I've heard of it. I don't really remember it, but...
Do you not read it?
I feel like we did, but I don't remember it.
Pretty much like when we read it in elementary school, we didn't delve into the deeper aspects of it. We just kind of, read it and, like, analyzed the plot, like, from an action standpoint.
Yeah.
But pretty much what happens in the City of Ember is the world is overpopulated. It gets, like, insane, like, it's trash. The environment's just dying. Like, the Earth itself is dying. So what, like, the group of elites decide to do is we're going to take, 400 people and put them underground for 200 years. Just 200 years. And pretty much, I don't know what happened to the rest of the population. Because when they come back up, there's no one. So the rest of the population's gone, right?
Okay.
There's the 400 people that get put underground for supposedly 200 years. And this is, like, where I said there's a difference between looking at the deeper meaning of it to just looking at it from, like, face value. Because we kind of just looked at it face value, like, in the plot of the book, which is now a movie, was... they lost, like, the 200-year key. Like, there was a capsule that was going to unlock after 200 years, and that got lost and, like, forgotten over the 200 years, and, like, it was supposed to get passed down to, like, the mayor, and then things just kept going as normal, and then 250 years pass, and the kid finally discovers it, and he has to do all this stuff to free all the people, and, like, the elites of the society that developed underground didn't want to, like, leave because they forgot about all those teachings. It's kind of similar to The Giver. You ever read or seen that? No, you haven't.
I haven't read The Giver.
No.
I've heard it though. Other classes have read it.
Yeah. So, but when you look at it from a deeper meaning, like, man, these people were banished underground. Weren't, like, I don't know if it was 200 years because I think it was longer because it was enough. It was
200
enough.
isn't that long.
Because I don't think generations would forget so much stuff through 200 years. So maybe it was like Maybe it was like,
or something.
2,000 years, which still seems like a lot. But there's, like, no historical data of, like, the outside world. But the kids started, opened up the time capsule, got the key, read the information. I think there was still some information. He started piecing together, like, random things he heard from, like, elders and stuff. And he was able to get them out of the city. But it was kind of crazy because it was, like, the Wall-E concept. Like, everyone had to leave because the planet died.
Yeah. That's cool. Just after all that, Sherm as a
nice.
By the way, if you haven't picked up on this, I call Jacob Sherm all the time. It's just the nickname I have for him.
And I usually call Devin Dev.
No, you don't. Not really.
I don't. Are you sure about that?
I don't really notice it. You probably do, actually.
I don't think it's as prevalent as you calling me Sherm. Because when you call me Jacob, I'm like, what's wrong?
The only time I call you Jacob is on here, and I try to think of myself, I'm on the podcast, I'll call him Jacob, that's what everyone knows him. But I always call you Sherm. Always. It's funny.
Well, yeah.
That was pretty,
glad I could get that all out of my chest, finish that off.
That was pretty mind heavy.
We might have to listen to the end of the one we just recorded and see if there's, like, any more things we wanted to say off that.
Yeah, but we'll go ahead and let you guys take a break here.
Yeah.
We'll be back right after.
Relax for a second.
Word from our sponsor. Really want to continue this.
Well, Devin's talking about all this good stuff.
Not really. I'm just talking about this episode. So, me and Jacob were having a discussion. Again, this is still April 11th. Me and Jacob were only coming today to film our first podcast, which is episode 7. But then we just kept on. We were on a roll, like we said.
I thought 6.
I think it was 6, and then this is 7. We were filming 6, but then we were on a roll, so we're like, let's just start 7, and like if we need extra backup, we'll do it now. But now we're talking about, well, when do we post this? Because Sherm wants to continue. Sherm wants to do a whole nother episode, so we do 2 episodes a day.
Like, finish this whole one. Well, not 2 episodes a day, but 2 episodes.
Yeah,
2 day.
2 day.
Yes.
But I'm like, I'm kind of running out of stuff to talk about, but if you're down, then let's keep doing it. But then I'm just starting to think about, when are we going to post this? Because I don't want to post this next. I don't want to have us an excuse to just take off next week. Like, oh, don't worry about it. We already got one. Especially if more people are available, like Trey and Isaiah, if they can come and they're willing to do it.
Especially like Trey and Isaiah weren't able to do it this week, so they might be like really itching to do one.
Because they enjoy it too. So I'm like, and I don't want it just an excuse to be like, take the week off, boys, good job. Yeah. Like, if we're able to do it, let's do another one. But then I don't want this episode to be continuously pushed back. And then like 3 years in the future, when like we're all busy today, it's like, oh, now we can use the backup. Yeah. So I don't know when to post this. I mean, I guess I'm not against doing a random midweek post, and we post this sometime
that's smart too. We could do that. We could just post this halfway through the week. If it comes to that, we might. But like, do we want to get in the part where like next week we film one that we'll post the week following, and then like each one we film's always pushed back a week? Or do you like the concept of like filming, posting?
I kind of like the filming, posting. I don't like having it delayed. Obviously, it's more work on our end, because then we have to plan out and remember to repost it at that time. There actually might be a setting where we can set the time we post it, actually. I'm not too sure. But there might be but I think it's just easier if we just film it that day. Also, it's more current. Because if we just talk about it today.
If we talk about current events. Yeah. Like, this wasn't a very heavy episode on current events, so I think it's good to post, later. But if we, like, next week, I think I mentioned this right at the beginning, but if we do talk about current events,
it's better to post it that day, then people that day and Monday and Tuesday can listen to it, and it is relevant.
Yeah, it's relevant and just makes sense.
But I guess we're going to go on with this podcast, see where it takes us. Who knows? Yeah. I don't know when. I really don't know when this will be uploaded, what day this will be. But apparently you guys listening to it, you do know. Yeah. They're sitting at home right now.
So hopefully this wasn't confusing for you, and you kind of like the way it worked out.
But again, it's just still me and Jacob here. Devin and Jacob.
So Devin, I was going to ask you this. Do you know what like being cryogenically frozen is? Or like are you familiar with cryogenics?
I know cryogenically frozen. Which basically is like Captain America. You're frozen and your body is preserved.
But it's more done in like a chamber. It is expensive though. Like it's like $150,000 a year.
Oh, cryogenic therapy? I've heard of that.
No, not therapy. Like you die and they submerge your body. Like just like Captain America, like what you were thinking. You die and they submerge your body into like freezing what's the like dry ice? What's the chemical they use? I'm not sure. I don't know. But they pretty much freeze you. But they do it so like fluid's always flowing around you, so your body, so like everything in your body is gonna freeze and stuff. And with the hopes that in 150 years from now, that they'll make the technology to be able to, because nothing's going to decay because you were frozen, that they'll have the technology to be able to restart your heart, get all of your fluids going again, warm you up, and then bring you back to life, I guess. Yeah, so there's a lot of different reasons you would want to do it. Say you have a terminal illness, a disease that's going to kill you in 2 years. So do you die, or do you like cryogenically freeze yourself for possibly 100 years until they can bring you back to life, and hopefully at that time they bring you back to life, or you say, don't bring me back to life until you have the cure to my terminal illness, and then you can live out the last 50 years of your life. But the problems with that, if no one else is getting cryogenically frozen with you, are you going to come back to life 200 years later and whole different society? You don't know anyone. I mean, everyone you've ever known in your life that ever meant something to you, even like could be dead.
Life itself, like buildings and cities and towns all could look different. They do different things, but
So would you ever do that under any situations?
Oh man.
And like, it's the other part of it. You would probably want to freeze yourself. Like, you'd have to like wholeheartedly believe that you would be able to get brought back, you know. But you probably want to freeze yourself like in your 40s, because if you do it when you're 80, you're gonna come back and be an 80-year-old.
Yeah, you're gonna struggle to walk around. And stuff.
And maybe if they found the cure to aging, and
then it's pointless.
Because you're already like old, aged, 80-year-old person.
I don't know. Because, like we said, I for sure want to do it when I'm 40. You're just still too young. But then again, if you do it when you're too old, it's pointless.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, if you had the money for it, guaranteed.
Probably not.
You probably wouldn't do, like what if you had a terminal illness? Would you just live out the last 2 years of your life with the people you love?
I don't know.
Or would you, I guess, roll the dice in a way that you could get brought back?
That is hard. Or
do you just freeze your head?
Life is a very sensitive thing, and I just don't like gambling. You know, it's something really tough to mess with, like life and death, and try to adjust it. But I know there's a myth that Walt Disney is frozen. Many rumors are spreading that Disney's body was cryogenically frozen. It said frozen beneath the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. I've heard that, but I doubt that.
Underneath that? I've been on that.
I was going to say, I could see it being frozen, probably not underneath the ride.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would do that, but...
I mean, I could see him doing it in, like, a professional center, because, like, in Silicon Valley, California, I mean, they have these giant centers where these super rich people, it's common, I guess.
Yeah. Which I guess that kind of relates to the Illuminati, too. Do you know much about that?
I don't know, dude.
The biggest myth of them all?
Dude, we need to do a full conspiracy theory episode now.
Yep, I'm writing that down.
Well, you might want to punch Illuminati into the conspiracy one. I don't know. I don't really... Man, this is becoming more like the campfire talks.
Yeah, this is definitely
so much like the Boy Scout campfire talks.
Sitting around the campfire talking about the weirdest, deepest stuff for hours. But, yeah, I guess we can save that. We'll save that for conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Well, you want to go into, like, a lighter topic?
Something not as brain-wrenching? Sure, what else can we talk about?
Well, I have written down the paper, a gifted study that I just, like, heard of or read up about. So pretty much what they did is this Harvard graduate, it was like his thesis project, he had to do it or something. So he goes to this school, and he tells all these teachers, he's like, I'm going to test each kid, give them a test, and, like, figure out if they're gifted or above proficient and all this stuff. So he does the test, and then he tells the teachers, like, the results. Like, these kids, like, these 15 kids in your class are gifted. They're above the rest, right? So, I think it was, like, 35% of the class he said was gifted, right? So the year passes, and they look at the grades and, like, how smart all these kids are, and... like you would expect, all the gifted kids were doing a lot better than all the other kids. You know, they had been doing extra classes. The teachers had been spending more time with them, teaching them more stuff, giving them more homework, more challenging stuff, like really questioning them and, like, getting that giftedness out of them. And the guy's like, yeah, that's kind of what you would expect. You know, the kids were gifted and based off the test data and everything. So everyone's like, yeah, so it seems like your little experiment worked really well. You know, like your test was able to accurately find the kids who are gifted. And he's like, yeah, but one thing, I didn't test these kids. They took a test, but the results I gave you were crap.
Yeah.
The kids I said were gifted, I randomly picked. They did better because they were
higher prioritized.
They were prioritized. They were focused on.
They believed.
They believed they were gifted. The teachers believed they were gifted. You know, they taught them the extra stuff. More time was spent on them. They were just more energy and effort was spent on developing them, and it really just showed. Like, it was kind of eye-opening, and it just showed, like.
And the teacher didn't even really try it. She just like subconsciously. I've heard the similar test I did was they actually took like an IQ test, and he said these 4 kids got above a 160, which is like the excellent rating. Mm-hmm. And then obviously the same thing happened, but at the end he goes, and at the end they actually took the test again, and they actually got above 160, but when the first time they didn't.
Yeah. Oh,
so
wow.
He just lied about them getting above it, but they believed that they did, so they did it again. But yeah, it's the same thing where the teacher didn't even realize it, but she actually allowed those kids to like
actually grow and become smarter and by the standards they were using.
Yeah.
You know, gifted and all that. So
it's all about the confidence, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, childhood's really so much about your environment that you're surrounded in constantly.
For sure.
For sure.
For sure.
Blessed, G. You never said that yet on air.
I haven't. I do say that a lot.
He says it all the time, but on air, no. You know what's up with this, like, the she's thing, like she.
Well, Jacob doesn't even do it right. It's so stupid. I don't know.
I say shashi.
That's weird. I hate that.
Where, like, do you know where it originated from?
No. I mean, I think it's just like originated from just like people saying like geez and then like sheesh. Like I've just heard people go sheesh, that's a lot or whatever.
Like the most recent video in my memory I saw was like the first time I actually saw a video of it, there was like an ambulance driving down the road and it was night. And I don't know why there was this huge gathering of like high school kids. Like it looked like school just got out, but it was all dark out. So I was confused to kind of what the situation was and what was going on. You just hear all these kids going sheesh. And then there's a mom and she's like, why are they saying that? Like, what does that mean?
Now it's just it's a sound of appreciation now, really, because it's like there's a bunch of different dumb ones
it's like
where it's just
celebratory.
Like, yeah, it's like when you walk in and I don't know, it's like when you walk into a party and I don't even know I don't know.
Or you just show up to like track practice or whatever. And
yeah,
and
if you run a good time, everyone's like sheesh.
It's so confusing. But me and Isaiah were talking about like I don't know, someone probably just said that jokingly. And look how it affected our area. Like other schools, we were at the big invite track meet, a relay track meet that just recently, and all the schools from the other areas, like from places hours away, they were saying it.
More than us, they would not shut up. They were all just like,
it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, but it's really crazy about like a lot of stuff. Like even like the word like cap. Like where'd that come from?
Where did cap even come from? Was it in a rap song?
I don't know, but even how'd that rapper come up? How would it like? Because cap means like lie, or like if you are capping, then you are lying or whatever. So like I don't know how some of these people come up with these words and how it spreads.
Do you know if cap's like everywhere, or is it kind of just this area?
No, it's everywhere.
Cap's everywhere.
People say cap all the time.
Cause like
for lie.
Our school has other like stupid stuff that we say like Timmy or bot.
Yeah.
Those are like insults, but I don't know where those came from either.
I don't either.
Because I was talking to my cousin in Florida, and I was telling them ones, and she's like, yeah, that's stupid. Like, why would you say that? And she's like, yeah, we say this though, and it was just something just. It is
weird if you talk to people like that
yeah
don't live around the same area you do. You sometimes use different words, and you'll just go on talking, and then they'll just say a word like, wait, what did you just say? That makes no sense. What is that? And then you have to like explain it to them. Like, oh yeah, we say this all the time. Like me, I say bless.
Yeah.
I say bless.
No one really understands what that means.
It kind of means everything. At most times, it's just like
thank you or
thank you or that's awesome.
Yeah.
Or like that's sweet. Like if Sherm comes up to me and he goes, you know what?
I got filmed an A on my test.
Yeah, or like I just filmed the whole podcast episode. Yes, I'll go bless G.
Our TikTok got 2,000 views.
It didn't though.
Yeah.
Did you delete that one TikTok?
No, it's still up.
Delete it. It's
slowly
so
getting
stupid.
more views. It's like 160.
I don't care. It's so bad.
But me and Isaiah were talking about this yesterday. We were like, we need to come up with a thing that could get some viralness and like would take over an area like that. And we actually came up with a good one. I'm not gonna say it on air.
What?
Because we're like planning to like post it on the TikTok and try to make it go viral. Because we need to find a good situation to say it. Like make something like iconic, like a vine that's like iconic and people know this sound.
Okay.
So if I start exposing people to it,
they could catch on.
Yeah, but I wanted to catch on through like the video, I guess.
I'm starting to say a word that I don't think it'll really catch on, but it's another something that I say. It's swick. Swick. I say like
slick.
Swick, W, like, and it kind of means like that's pretty neat. Or like that looks pretty cool. Like if someone comes up to me with a like a new type of technology.
Sure you're just saying sick, but
no, right. it's swick. Like if someone comes up to me and like they show me like you know that you could do this with this, I'm like, oh, that's pretty swick. You see it? Like
I'm only hearing like sick or slick. Like it's like the same concept.
Yeah, it kind of means the same thing.
Wait, is it a real word?
I don't know. I'll look up the definition.
Just saying
I think it's just one of my words. I watched a YouTuber that says it. No, it's just
click on it's Swick a word.
Yeah, very good, excellent, cool. That's Swick.
It is a real word.
I don't know if it's an actual real word, but there's people came up with a definition. But yeah, it's that's Swick. That's kind
of Swick, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Or like If someone comes out like, this computer turns on by a snap of a finger, like, oh, that's pretty slick. Or you could even say someone looks slick.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just something I use. I think it's kind of cool. It's pretty slick.
Stop. There's so many, things like that. Yeah. It's weird how much a language can vary within this people that speak the same language.
Yeah. How even over time, how we can change our own language. Like, my dad took a business trip, and he went over to Europe. I think they went to Great Britain or wherever, the UK or so. He went somewhere, and he was talking about their like, oh, you're from America, and he's like, yeah. How could you tell me? He goes, oh, that you speak American. And he goes, huh? What? You speak American? And I'm like, he's like, we speak English, or to them, they speak English and we speak American because we have obviously they have their own different accent. Yeah. So they call it like American.
Do you know a bunch of like words that translate? Because I know they call fries chips.
Yeah, they have a lot of different fry English chip, and I don't know.
I'm kind of blanking on any other
ones.
Yeah,
I know. I've seen many videos where people talk about, what do you call this? And they ask someone from America and someone from the UK, what do you call this? And it's really different.
Or how UK people say Adidas, like
Adidas or something.
Adidas. It's funny.
Yeah, but Swick, it's a word. Let's get that one going.
No, it's not.
So what was
That's like a last name.
So you're not going to tell the one you and Isaiah are coming up with?
Oh, no. The one, it's not a word like Swick like we've been talking about. It's like a phrase, like she.
Okay. Just so, like a sound of that means something. Mm-hmm.
Dang. Did you ever go through your coins? Your gold coins?
No, but I got a new one. I was going to bring it and show you. I got a Donald Trump coin. Now, I'm not saying I support Donald Trump or anything. I'm not saying I'm not.
It's just that's the newest one, obviously.
Yeah, we're political neutral on here.
Unless they came out with the Biden one, yeah.
But yeah, it was the newest coin, and it was on sale or whatever, and it was real cheap. But it's a gold plated. It's just a Donald Trump coin. It's not a actual like dollar coin currency. It's not one of those, but it's just his own type of coin.
That's kind of weird.
It says like Donald Trump 2020, but it's like gold plated, so it's like wrapped in a real thin layer of gold. But it's kind of cool. It's just
okay. But it's not U.S. currency.
No.
Because the gold dollars are actually U.S. currency.
I don't. They won't have a Donald Trump coin yet. Yeah. I still have the website.
Yeah, because we said the most recent one was
I can check
a while back.
George H.W. Bush. Well, actually, that's when he was president.
Yeah, 1993. Well, did they make the coin during then, or that's just?
I don't know, actually.
I don't know how the system works, but I kept saying that I was going to bring my coins over here. I still should do that.
We have a lot too, because we were talking about a few episodes ago. I think it was 2 episodes ago. We were talking about Trey and his sports cards.
Yeah.
And we wanted to bring all that and go through.
It was funny because right when he got home, he sent us a video to our Snapchat group chat.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You guys got me motivated, and you had boxes and binders full of more cards to look through." And he's like, "Started
you
looking
never
through
know what gem you could have in there."
He definitely needs to look into that card and see when it's best to sell.
Yeah, that's cool. He's got to get it rated by
PSA. Yeah. You ever watch Pawn Stars?
I do, all the time.
Yeah, I watch Pawn Stars a lot.
Pawn Stars is awesome, just because it's a lot of history, too. You learn a lot, but it's also people buying and selling.
But it's insane.
Cool things of history.
One thing I've always found insane that gets a crazy amount of value is autographs.
Yeah.
If you have the right autograph from the right person, people will pay a lot.
Mm-hmm. Especially if it's like on something that makes sense. Like if you, like they said, like an autographed Beatles guitar, priceless.
Yeah. I can't even imagine how much that would sell for.
I don't even know.
Like how much do you think a Beatles autograph would sell for on like I don't know, a business card or something dumb, like one of their pamphlets, like a CD of theirs.
Yeah, like a disc. I don't even know.
It'd sell for a good amount, but then you have it on a guitar.
Or if it's something like they played and then signed it would be crazy.
Yeah. The amount of value people would be willing to pay for that. you see things like that sell all the time. Like for charity cases, they sell an autographed jersey worn, or a worn jersey by a pretty well-known player.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go for so much.
Yeah. By the way, I'm still getting a whole bunch of different guitar ads. There just was some on here. What?
Have you still been doing stuff on your guitar?
Oh,
learning it?
I'm still slowly growing. The only thing, though, is I'm dreading what's called guitar theory, which basically it's the science and the knowledge behind the guitar and, like, the notes it makes. Kind of like, it's hard to explain, but if you hold your fingers on a few of these strings, it makes a sound, but if you do go down, it'll, like, make a same sound. It's a lot with, like, chords. Like, you can make an A chord, but then to create an A minor chord, you have to do a few things. And it's not, like, a whole different. There's, like, a pattern, basically.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing. For a lot of the notes and chords and strings, there's patterns everywhere.
Is it instrument to instrument, or do certain musical notes, like... Well, I know there's, like, the pitch, and they'll sound, like, higher or they'll sound lower, but are there certain musical notes that are, like, more utilized if you wanted to make a happy song versus a song that would sound
there's like
generally sad?
I think they're just called like major and minor chords. Like I can, if I had my guitar, I could literally go and place a few chords that sound sad.
I can talk for a couple minutes. You go get it. Or we just pause this segment. You can run up and get it.
We'll save that for another day.
All right.
I'm not good at guitar yet.
We're making some progress because when I mentioned this to him a couple weeks ago, he said no way. And heck, he was going to play on the podcast.
Maybe I'll play a few chords. But yeah, basically you play a chord and it sounds real like dun. Like I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's real like sad versus other ones that are very upbeat and powerful.
Yeah.
But yeah, guitar's cool. I'm slowly getting better, but it's hard.
Planning out a big purchase or no?
Yeah, kind of. I want to get a good amp. But it's expensive. I also want, like, I know I've talked about this before, so I won't go into too much, but it's expensive. And you start one thing and you want to just get more and more. Because I also want to get an acoustic, but...
Acoustic guitar, a whole nother guitar?
Yeah.
Wow.
But, I mean, I guess I don't know. It could be cheaper. Acoustics are usually cheaper, but they could be more expensive. Like, that would be cool. If I would go on and show you some guitar prices and stuff, some are insane. Especially because of some, like, how similar guitars can be. Like, I can get an acoustic made by, like, Yamaha, which is a pretty well-known brand. $150, $200. But then I could get, like, a pristine signature Taylor, which is, like, a real high-end guitar brand for thousands.
Is there going to be a big difference between their performance?
I mean, people who are really, really good say, yeah, there's a difference, but to you and me, they would sound basically the same. It would feel probably a little more quality,
yeah,
but nothing worth thousands of dollars more.
Especially if it's kind of like a hobby. If you're performing in front of millions.
And some people have the money, like that's what they spend their money on.
Oh yeah.
Like throwing a couple thousand around for a guitar isn't too bad.
But if you're gonna put so much time into it, it's definitely a worthwhile investment for a lot of people.
Probably. All right, well, I guess what are we at? Yeah, we should probably wrap this episode up. I'm actually really surprised that we got 2 full episodes in today.
Episodes, yeah. That is definitely the first time we've ever done that.
Especially with just me and Jacob. I was really kind of concerned with this episode because I was like, there's only 2 people. That's 1 less person to add in their opinion, or 2 less people if Isaiah and Trey both.
If we kind of freeze up, what are we gonna do? Because
with more people they can jump in, and more opinions they have, and the longer you go. So I was kind of concerned, but
we're the veterans of the show.
Exactly. Isaiah is too, but
he's missed 2 episodes now.
I guess
but 3 episodes now because we filmed 2 today.
Oh, technically,
Dear.
But yeah, we were able to get it done, and that was a pretty good podcast. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm not sure when this will be posted, but if you're listening to this, Speaking Sporadically out.
Yep. See you guys.